So we're out here in the yard. So this bin of mine here starts here and it goes all the way back over there. There's probably about 8 cord in there. I did move the pine logs over here that were sitting here. My intent is to get through the rest of this pile, and then my next bin is going to be right here, and then after that I'll have a bin over there. But for right now, it's getting to be that this whole back section all the way up to here is dry and ready to sell, and that is starting to get drier and drier. So I would say that by the time I sell most of this, a lot of that will probably be drier and ready to sell. And then I do have 2 totes of mixed hardwoods here. And these totes that are all right here, they're all double stacked. That's basically all the odd cutoffs. So from there to about there is all the stuff I had from the big monster maple of buddies that I cut up. And then I got basically 6 bins full from basically that spot right there down to the end. And then with the pile that is way over there on the concrete that I have cut, split basically, you know, as I do it. I kind of been filling it up because if I got some nasty stuff, I'm not going to mess around with trying to split through a bunch of knots, so I usually just cut it off and basically bigger chunks, throw it in the tote. I need boiler wood too, so that's what we're going to use that for. I'm going to try not to break my neck. So I have 2 totes there, and I have a few more totes over here. Them will be ones that are actually dry and ready to burn, so I'll actually get more of them probably stuck in the barn probably in about a week or so, when I know that I have stuff that's in the barn that I need to get out yet. And when I don't have to get that stuff out because I'm getting stuff put away for the winter, a lot more of this will probably get stuck in there, so that way it's basically out of the elements, so that way when I need it for the boiler, I don't have to fish it out of the snow. And turning around, the chickens are no longer in their portable coop because it is starting to get cooler out, so we did move them all out of there back into the coop now. I mean, I do have a pretty nice pile. So there's a lot of this back here is a lot of mixed hardwoods. There's a pile of logs back there's mixed hardwood, and that pile's all mixed hardwoods. So basically the pile there and then it goes back is a lot of the campfire style wood, which would be your box elder, cottonwood, popple, and then I do have a smaller pile there that's got birch, cherry, some oak, some hickory, some maple in it, and then obviously the pile of pines. So it will be nice because as we pan around here, there's more and more of Chris's wood that is going out. So once all of his stuff is gone from here, my intent is to put a bunch of bins in over here, and this area down over here will actually be left for Gavin for his garden in the summertime. And you know, obviously the project truck up there that Gavin's gonna play with, so we're gonna see if we can have the red one running for the winter so we can plow snow with it. So this is the pile of 6x6s and 2x6s. Obviously a couple 2x4s on the top, and then there's 2 more I can rip down to 2x4s. So my intent with that is this is going to be my cutting and splitting area. Obviously it rained today, my splitter got wet, and actually looking off in the distance it looks like there's more rain coming. So what I want to do is I actually want to put a roof area kind of over this section, so that way I have some protection, so that way it's getting rained on, you know, I'm not getting rained on if it's kind of a light rain. But I am contemplating on moving it that way farther, so that way it's closer to that side of the concrete. That way I still do have more room up this way. Basically I'm going to make it so that it'll come down probably part way into where this tote is, and then in the winter time when it's cold and windy, I can always put a tarp across the west end. That'll cut down on a lot of the wind blowing through, And then on this end here, the posts are going to end about at the front edge of the table. And then I'll probably make like a little bit of an overhanging roof that'll come over, cover up part of this area. But I don't want to interfere with the rack because the rack is 8 feet wide. And I'm only going to make this roof to being 8 feet wide. So when I have it set up, you know, I figured if my sawdust tote and my chunk tote, if they end up sitting either just on the edge of the concrete here or just off the edge, it's not going to be a big deal. Because I figured by that point in time, when I'm done cutting the majority of the campfire wood, I won't have totes up here that I'll be stacking the mixed hardwood in, because I'll have a bin made for it. So that'll go right into a bin instead of stacking in the tote. But for right now, I don't have that much of it, so I'm just stacking in a tote. And then like this chunk, cut up, you know, nasty pieces that'll go in the boiler. You know, if that sits out from underneath the roof, it's not a big deal, because it's going to probably sit outside for at least a year before I would end up putting it in the barn before I burn it. So that's kind of what the plan is with that. So we've gotten the area in here cleaned up and straightened up a little bit. Chris did take all of his saws and the majority of his stuff out of here. He's still got a little bit of stuff that's here. But I did get a few things rearranged in here and got it cleaned up. Got a bunch of kindling in his that's still sitting in here. And we got a bunch of totes lined up, and I'm going to probably put a few more of them in here yet. So everybody's kind of asked for a bird's eye view from upstairs here in the barn. So there's a pretty good view of the whole yard here. They left me a lane right here, actually, to go all the way down and all the way to the back corner of the woods, as I asked them not to work a strip so that I could get down there with slash and get down there and hopefully get some wood out this winter. But my first bin is right there, and there'll be more bins there. But I think my game plan for over there, after all of Chris's stuff is gone, is that'll probably be more of like my boiler wood and my totes and stuff. And I'll probably move more of my wood over to this side. But the game plan is, hopefully I'll have a roof there soon, so that way I'm not splitting in the rain. And then this up here is where I have my bladders that I pull out. Just for a simple fact of up here, they're not blowing around all over the neighborhood. I do have a bunch of the plastic from the garden totes that I made. So one of these days I'll have to get the saw out and I'll actually cut most of this plastic off, and then I'll just have the one flat piece for putting underneath my bins. So this is a 1984 J10 Jeep pickup. I mean, it is definitely not a show pony. I mean, there's you know, you could Flintstone it, but it did run probably about, I want to say 12 to 13 years ago I had that one running. But we are going to try to get it running. We're going to get the snowplow on that one for the winter. Gavin can play around with it back here in the yard. And then this one here is a 1979 J20. This one here is not no show pony either. I mean, the button on the door sticks. It does open. But this one here, the gas tank is rotted out. Obviously, some tires fell off of it when we were pushing it and getting it here. This one here, I haven't quite fully decided what I wanted to do with it, but I was getting it unloaded off the trailer, so this is where I put it for now. It may eventually end up upstairs in the barn, unless we decide to scrap it out, which I can do that too. And if I do scrap it out, there's probably quite a bit of parts and pieces off of it that I will save, because it will work for this truck here. But it's kind of one of them projects Gavin wants to play around with, have some fun. I mean, I'm not too overly worried about it, because I don't know, I think I bought them two trucks so many years ago. I think maybe I paid $1,000 for them. I mean, if Gavin has fun with it for a couple of years, I decide to get rid of them and scrap them out, I'm sure I'll get my money back out of it. So we're gonna have some fun. I'm hoping that one of these next days here I can get started actually in this area getting my roof project done, because I mean, I do have the rack full, so if I get time to cut and split, because I have time to do that, not time enough to start the project, because when I start the project I might need an extra hand, because some of them 6x6s are not very heavy, they're not very light, they're heavy, and it might take 2 guys to get some of that stood up and get everything screwed in place. So that's all I got for now. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.